keep it live, that's right. From Pennsylvania to across the globe, it's time for the Steelers All-Star Show.
Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-hosts Cody, Joe from Ohio, and Nick. How are you all doing on this wonderful fall-looking Saturday morning?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. I am tired, but I'm ready to talk some Steeler football. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm awake. I'm here. As my descriptor for the week says, looking for our run defense. But we'll dive into that, and I'm excited to talk about Steelers football despite what was put on tape last week. So,
yeah, not a lot of good things on tape. I'm doing just lovely. Still have this weird nasal thing that I can't get rid of, but other than that, doing fantastic. James, how are you?
Look at us all coming off the injured reserve all at the same time, man. I like it. Got the whole crew back together. What better way to start this weekend off and get you all the up-to-date news? I'm doing well myself here, but let's go to that. Look at a boy.
I'll crack one to that.
Oh, boy. Nice to have you back and healthy. So let's get into things here where the Steelers made some roster transactions. We kind of knew that some of this was going to happen with all the injuries piling up. The first one being Isaiah Loudermilk going to the injured reserve. We suspected that based off of the injury and the fact that he was wearing a walking boot before the game was over. Usually a bad indication there. DeMarvin Leal will take his spot. That's pretty important, I think, because you're also now getting a little bit thin at the outside linebacker position, which we're going to talk about later on. So DeMarvin can kind of substitute in a couple areas, but I think he's going to stay mostly at outside linebacker. And I think this is it, man. This could be the swan song for DeMarvin Leal, his last chance to prove that he's worthy of being on a 53-man roster, being in a rotation, maybe even a future starting job somewhere outside of Pittsburgh. So you got to kind of pull for DeMarvin and hope that he shows something in tomorrow's game. But he's definitely going to be giving 110%. Anytime a guy is fighting for his life career-wise, you might see some stuff that you wouldn't see otherwise.
That's one I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit too, because from what I heard, I was listening to John Gruden's analysis of this upcoming game, and I believe he said Loudermilk is out for the season. I don't know what his sources were there, but that was the commentary that he put out there. And watching Leal in that final preseason game, he finally started to get something going there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we see that same 110%, like you said, so that he can contribute in a real way this season, especially if it's true that Loudermilk will be out for the rest of the season.
He's a bigger outside linebacker too, right? With the issue being, like you said, we're looking for a run defense. Maybe another bigger outside linebacker will help out with that. So I don't think that that's a negative thing by any means. Also not a negative thing, some of these new players on the practice squad, Pittsburgh bringing in linebacker Jawan Bentley and wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins, along with tight end Matt Sokol, all signed to the practice squad, releasing wide receiver Raheem Jarrett, who was only on the practice squad for about a week there, and then J.J. Galbraith, who we all had high hopes for and really just kind of never turned into anything. He's gone now too. So I think the big part here, Jawan Bentley, a former starter for the New England Patriots defense, another one of the guys that Mike Vrabel moved on from in an effort to kind of turn the page and bring in all his own guys, but had some highly productive years for New England as recently as 2023, more of a thumper of a linebacker too, which our run defense kind of needs right now. So we'll see if he gets elevated, but there's a chance of it.
I mean, I don't know if he'll get elevated at least this week, but I'm thinking hopefully in the next upcoming weeks, we'll see him elevated.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, he brings in that expertise from New England. Now, granted, Vrabel's probably turning a lot of pages from what happened when he was there, but he can still give some insights into different things and elements that hopefully will be valuable for the preparations this week.
I think the problem that I've experienced with the Patriots, and this was more under Bill Belichick than Vrabel, but Vrabel being a player that played with Belichick kind of throws some things in there that I'm concerned with is they never make they never make massive changes in New England. That you'll always see similar formation, similar play style and stuff, but they just make small play changes where instead of, this receiver on this play always runs an out. Well, then he's going to run an in and it's going to throw everything off, and everything on tape from week to week changes just minusculely to where you think you know what they're going to do because you studied tape if you studied tape so well. And then boom, just like that, it's a completely different play based on one thing. So I think we might see a little bit of that. But again, like you guys said, the wisdom there from knowing even anything about Mike Vrabel's run team or any Patriot team could be beneficial as well.
Yeah, and you got to kind of compound that with Jabril Peppers, who was also a late cut, was there through the entire preseason process. So both of these guys on that roster very recently can definitely add some insight as to what you'd be looking at on that defensive side of the football. So could be very important. An injury that, is it important? Is it not? I'm not 100% sure. Max Sharping went down this week in the middle of the week in a practice with what is being reported as an ACL tear. So we haven't seen the corresponding move yet. If this is true, he should be landing on the injured reserve. Whether or not Pittsburgh will do that today before making their announcements, I guess there's a possibility of that. I expected it to happen already. But Max, you kind of didn't want to see play anyway. He was probably your 10th offensive lineman out of the 10 on the team. And I kind of personally expect them to not replace that with an offensive lineman, because you only need to dress 8 on Sundays in order to not have to have 2 less active players. So you can still have that wiggle room of one guy that you don't dress that's, got a bum ankle or whatever it may be that week. This, I think, is the opportunity for Trey Sermon right here. Mm-hmm. I think you put Sharping to the IR, you dress Trey Sermon, and here you go. Now you got another option in the kick return game. He's got experience doing it. He's got experience on kick coverage, punt coverage, the return units on those as far as blocking also. So I think this is just the logical step here, but we'll find out, possibly later on today in the next 6 to 12 hours, we might have a new Steeler on the roster, probably from the practice squad.
Yep.
Well, and we talked before the show a little bit, but with elevating Trey Sermon, that would hopefully, I think, alleviate some pressure from Peyton Wilson, because currently he's just doing too much, in my opinion, and he's relying on his athleticism versus like football skill and football IQ. I feel like he's just relying too heavily on that, and so we're not seeing the production from Wilson that I feel like we know is possible or we've seen is possible. And so I think elevating Trey Sermon would be beneficial to more than just the special team. Like, we'd actually see it help with our defense, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. And in as much as, he can rely on his athleticism, I think we all can rely on the Edinburgh Hotel Bar being an excellent place to go to on Sundays or Mondays, on Thursdays, whenever you like to go watch your Steelers football games or even just go out for a bite to eat. So programming on Steelers by the Lake podcast is underwritten in part by the Edinburgh Hotel Bar, 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinburgh, providing a variety of lunch and dinner items daily and free buzzworthy trivia, pub trivia every Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. Details are available at 814-734-5103 or online at edinburghhotelbar.com.
That is very true. Edinburgh Hotel Bar is a great place to go. I don't know if I'll be there for this week's game. I am making some buffalo chicken dip, so I might just try to save the contusion to the debit card and stay home. So,
not a bad move, buddy.
Speaking of contusions, let's talk about the injury report real quick. So James, I'll look at the Steelers team real quick. You have 3 players that I'm going to get out of the way. They have contusions to the birth certificate. That would be DK Metcalf, Darius Slay, and TJ Watt. If you hadn't heard us say the contusion to the birth certificate, that just means they're not injury related, resting because they're veterans. They're older. They're up there. They're good to go. They just need a break. So those 3 guys just got some rest days. Patrick Queen dealing with that oblique injury full participant all week. Expect him to play. Joey Porter Jr. dealing with that hamstring injury, already listed as out, didn't participate all week. Deshaun Elliott with the knee injury listed out with not practicing all week. Alex Highsmith, ankle injury listed as out. Max Sharping, we just went over that knee injury, potentially going to the IR, but he's not playing this week. And then also Derek Harmon, he did was limited participation both Wednesday and Thursday and fully participated yesterday, which is awesome. But he is listed as questionable.
Yeah.
My fear is this is a direct response to the lack of run defense we've seen, and we're going to rush him back, and he's going to have a bigger issue.
Well, he said in an interview this week that he's 100% ready to go. He just needs to see how much they're going to throw on him load-wise, well, basically, they put me in on Sunday, I'm 100%, I'm ready to go, is what he's saying.
Tell me any athlete or competitor that wouldn't say that because they want to play.
Right.
Well, we're also in the window of what was expected, 4 to 6
That's true.
weeks.
Yep.
That injury was at least 4 weeks ago, if not 5 weeks ago. So we're right where we need to be on the normal healing time for it. I think Pittsburgh will play him, but just not much. It'll be frustrating because we're going to say, man, we really could use him more out there. But it's best for him and the team long term to ease him back into things. It might only be 10 or 15 snaps, and we're going to want to see more from him, but we will if that knee continues to progress and stay healthy. So more important that he comes out of this game as healthy as he went into it than anything else.
Yeah,
but man, I can't wait to see him back on that field.
I would much rather see them limit him this week and next week and then give him the full bye week to fully recuperate and then come back swinging the week after. So I'm fine with limited snaps, especially if we're like potentially rushing him back, like Cody was saying, because that's my fear as well, is that we're trying to get him involved too early, because I'd rather have staunch run defense for the rest of the year than have no run defense after he gets re-aggravated. So
absolutely a concern there. Going to the New England side of things, they look pretty healthy, honestly. They got a lot of guys coming back from injury. If we look at the Friday injury report, Christian Gonzalez with a hamstring. I understand he has not played yet this season. He's listed as questionable. He was limited in practice all week, so there's a chance he does not go. Harold Landry has a foot injury but was full. Carlton Davis an Achilles injury but was full, coming off of limited the day before. Linebacker Marte Mapu with a full participant, was limited the day previous. Fullback Jack Westover with a hamstring has been limited all week and is listed as questionable for the game. Linebacker Kaylavon Chason with a hamstring, a full participant, was limited previously. Their offensive lineman Jared Wilson with a thigh, a full participant. Morgan Moses with a foot, full participant. Both of those were limited previously. Christian Barrymore, not injury related. And Keon Wilness with an illness. I would expect both of them to go. Keon White, I'm interested to see him actually watch a game of him. I really was excited about him when he came out in the draft. So going to be interesting to see how he goes. I thought he would have been a real nice fit for Pittsburgh in a 3-4 defensive end scheme.
Gonzalez is going to be the big ticket item there for sure. He has been lingering. He's been nursing that injury. I believe he was out all year last year with, I think, the same injury. And he definitely is a game changer for them. He is their top corner, and they've been struggling on that side without him there. Granted, we said the same thing about Seattle last week, but that kind of didn't materialize for us. So that's something that we're going to have to be able to attack. But again, if we can't establish the run on our side of the ball offensively, then that might be a little bit more difficult as well.
I think that the biggest thing, Christian Gonzalez, like you said, is a massive injury. I don't think there's anyone on this list. I mean, obviously all the other guys were fully participated, but again, this isn't a massive New England Patriots offense or team in general. And we'll talk about that now. We'll transition over to talk about them. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is their offensive weapons. I mean, other than that, no, their defense outside of Christian Gonzalez doesn't super scare me with what they have, and especially with what we know our offense can do when they're moving on all cylinders or even some cylinders. But let's take a look at their depth chart real quick. They're led by quarterback Drake May. The big thing here for us Steelers fanatics is backed up by Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is a very intellectually smart man. There are many times where he's helped Ben see things on film and on the sideline during games because of just how his brain works. And Ben's given him credit for stuff in the past. So,
and he knows Pittsburgh.
He does. Well, yeah, a little different now. Just the same thing with Mike Vrabel and stuff. It's different coaching, but yes. The wide receiver room is led by Stephon Diggs. They also have Demario Douglas, Kayshawn Boot, and Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins is the guy that scares me from the bench aspect of it, or from the.
They also have Kyle Williams as a rookie that was pretty highly touted in the draft as well.
Yeah, and the one making a splash early on, Efton Chisholm, which is a guy that I was really impressed with through the draft process.
Running back Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. Trayvon Henderson is listed as their third string. I believe
Gibson handles a lot of special teams return duties. He ripped a 90-yarder for a touchdown last week against the Dolphins. So Gibson's used more in the special teams area, whereas Ramondre and Henderson are more of the 1-2 punch there, with Gibson providing some relief if they need it.
Jack Westover being the fullback. I don't know how much they use fullbacks. I haven't seen that. And then really the honestly scariest thing on this offense outside of Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper being their tight end combo is actually kind of scary. And then you look at the offensive line from left to right. Will Campbell with Verderian Lowe backing him up. And then you got Jared Wilson, Garrett Bradbury, Mike Onwenu, and Morgan Moses. So that offensive line will give them time. That offensive line is fairly decent, but our defensive front should be able to handle that. Like on paper, we are talented enough to destroy that, even with some backups in. So keeping that in mind. Anything you guys else want to talk about on offense before we transition to the Patriots defense?
Yeah, the O-line there, Will Campbell, the highly touted, I think he was the first round pick for them, the offensive tackle there. Michael Onwenu, the guy that I had a draft crush on him years and years ago, early Steelers by the Lake. And he's had himself a very nice career for them. Morgan Moses, definitely somebody TJ Watt could beat one-on-one if he actually gets the opportunity to. Bradbury, what's he been in the league 20 years now, it seems like, and then Jared Wilson. So I think this is a capable but not dominant offensive line with an opportunity on that left side. Will Campbell, I think the big knock on him was length. He didn't have really long arms. So that was why some people thought, how high is he going to be? How successful in the NFL? So that speed rush up the arc could be something you might be able to take advantage on him. And that's a specialty of Nick Herbig, who should be getting a much bigger dose of playing time this week.
Cody, you highlighted the tight ends as your concern. Mine is the running game. They have three backs who have proven they're capable. I know Henderson's a rookie, but Gibson used to be a starting running back in this league, and he ripped that impressive return against their division rivals in the Dolphins last week. And then also with Ramondre Stevenson, who's proved he's capable, and Henderson, who I had a draft crush on, was hoping Pittsburgh would pick him up, but he unfortunately went before we were able to take Caleb Johnson. He was part of that two-headed monster at Ohio State last year that Jack Sawyer and Will Howard are very familiar with. And to see those guys go out and do what they did last week and to see what we've been doing against the run thus far, that's really what worries me the most on this offense, even though I still think that the receiving core they have there is solid as well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure, one that I'm not sure I'm super positive about in terms of the run game.
No.
Yep, got to be assignment sound, got to stay in your lanes this week because these guys are explosive enough to make you pay if you don't.
Yep. Looking over on the defensive side of the ball, James, you ready for this?
Absolutely. You want me to take over on the D?
Go for it.
All right. So at the defensive line position, we've got the nose tackle, Kyrus Tonga. Two defensive tackles listed, Christian Barmore and Milton Williams, the recent free agent acquisition from the Philadelphia Eagles, who made a real big splash for them in their Super Bowl run last year. Outside linebackers, Calevon Chason and Harold Landry III, not to be confused with the second. Keon White backing them up. So they got some pass rush juice out of these three guys. All of them definitely accomplished veterans in the league. Linebackers, we are very familiar with Robert Spillane. Also, Christian Ellis listed as their other starting linebacker. So that's when they're in a 3-4 defense. Looks like that's what they run there. So similar to Pittsburgh, which is good for Pittsburgh because that's what they practice against all the time, all off season. So should be a little bit easier as far as understanding who you're supposed to be blocking on that offensive line in the run game. In the secondary, starting corners, Carlton Davis III again, and Christian Gonzalez. Both of these guys were on the injury list with Christian Gonzalez listed as a questionable status with his injury. So Alex Austin and Marcus Jones listed as their backups. Not sure which one of them has been starting in place of Gonzalez, but I would expect there to be a little bit of a balance there of him coming off of a hamstring injury. Starting safeties, Jalen Hawkins and Craig Woodson, which is crazy because Kyle Duggar is not starting for them, and he just got like a massive contract. I understand they tried to move on from him too. It was going to be Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar, and he just said, nope, I don't want to go with either one of these safeties in the future.
Yep.
So very interesting strategy by Vrabel, but it's his team. He can do whatever he wants to. In my opinion, there's some good talent in this team. Definitely a beatable secondary, but we said that last week too, and that didn't turn out the way we were hoping. So I think a lot of it this week will depend on how well are they able to drop those linebackers into coverage. That was not necessarily the strongest part of Robert Spillane's game previously. How much has he evolved in that? I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing well. I don't know, because he's definitely a smart dude. So we'll see how this goes. Special teams, you want to cover those guys, or do we have anything we'd like to talk about on any of those defensive players?
I think defensively, specifically, we talked about the guys that we're worried about, and you hit the nail on the head with everyone else. Harold Landry III, not to be confused with the second. No, we can go special teams. Kicker Andy Borgils,
a rookie who has been struggling. That's a definite advantage Pittsburgh there. He's missed, I believe, a couple extra points and then missed a couple field goals as well.
Nice.
So definite thing our special teams can take advantage of in this rookie who has not gotten his feet together.
Good. Punter and holder Bryce Behringer. You also have punt returner Marcus Jones and Demario Douglas. Kick return Antonio Gibson and Trayvon Henderson. And then long snapper Julian Ashby, because long snappers matter too. Just ask the Bengals. It makes James real happy when I remember to say that. For those of you,
we're still roasting them for it.
For those of you not watching the YouTube video, I mean, we appreciate you still listening, but you miss out on James's just big smile sometimes. But yeah, that's the special teams. Other than that, it's time for our 2 keys to success. So again, if this is your first time joining us, we used to do 3 keys when there was just James and I, but now that there's 4 of us, we do 2 keys to success. So each of us share 2 keys to winning or leaving this week's game with a win. And then you are also welcome to comment on the YouTube video, message us directly with keys to success, and let us know what you think Pittsburgh needs to do to win in Foxborough. So who's going to start it off this week? Well, that got awkward.
Off, so I'm like, you want me to go?
Nick, go ahead.
Okay. All right.
We'll go Nick. We'll go Nick, Jill, James, me.
Okay.
I'm not going to take Jill's keys. I promise, Jill.
No, that's okay. I've got more.
No, we're good. So my first key is I want to see no more than 1 turnover. I would like to see, obviously, no turnovers. But there were several last week that really killed us. Rodgers had 2 interceptions. Johnson had the absolute motivation killer of not touching the ball after it landed in the landing zone. And we really just need to tighten that up if we're going to be winning the game. There's no way you can win a game if you're losing the turnover battle. So that's my first key.
All right. Well, my first key is Nick's tagline over here. We need run defense. Like we have to be able to stop the run and not get blasted as a running play. I would really like to see Darnell Washington in more. Well, I guess that's the opposite side of the ball, but I want to see him like more run blocking. So I guess that's more for my second key.
So how many yards do you think we need to hold them to for success in the terms of the run game?
I would like to see less than 100. I'm going bold.
I love it.
Because I feel like we just need that confidence boost of like we can actually rely on our defense again. They're the highest paid defense. And there was some, I can't pull it off the top of my head. Shout out Steelers Depot because they list off some crazy stat about allowing like 14 rushes over a certain amount of yards, and the Steelers are already at 8. So like last season there was only 14, and we in 2 games are already halfway there. So
we're presently ranked 28th, I believe, in run defense out of 32 teams. So not too good.
Yeah,
no.
It's alarming. So they need to stop the run. Hold them to less than 100 yards.
I like it. I like it very much. So getting into my first key is going to be something also that Pittsburgh's struggling mightily with right now. And we got to turn it around. If we turn it around with energy first in the morning, then that's what we're doing. But we got to make sure these guys are properly motivated. One of the things Pittsburgh has been very good at in previous years, but is atrocious and one of the worst in the league at this year, is allowing 20-plus yard plays. They're just letting them up nonstop, and I think some of this comes back to the safety room and the fact that Deshaun Elliott's out. You moved on from Minka Fitzpatrick. You got Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark back there. It's just a downgrade from what you're used to in previous years in that room. So one of my keys today is going to be 2 or less 20-plus yard plays on the entire game. Let's keep everything short and in front of you. Then you got a better chance of making big plays, turnover, stops, bigger hits, and keep things under control and keep the score down that way. So 2 or less 20-plus yard plays allowed is my first key.
I like it.
I like that a lot, James, especially because if you look at the film from those last 2 games, both the Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown and one of the Garrett Wilson touchdowns were the exact same play, exact same coverage, Brennan, the exact same way. So if we can get that to stop, that would be great.
I'd like not go for 0 for 3 on that. So
yeah, because they're going to try it.
Yeah,
well, New England is going to run that play. Yeah,
who wouldn't? Yeah. After watching us fail miserably 2 weeks in a row, I would do it too.
Yeah. My first key to success is going to be kind of the opposite of Nick's. I want to see all the turnovers, but I want to get them. I want Pittsburgh to defense to stand up as the number 1 paid defense in the league and take some initiative and go out and get the ball for the offense. Put them in good field position, give us more opportunities to score. I want to see Pittsburgh leave this game with 3 takeaways, excuse me.
But actually score or like get points with the takeaway.
Listen, give me 3 field goals off 3 turnovers. I'll take that. That's 9 points. I'll take it.
Okay.
But get me something.
Well, I
get
mean,
our serial killer kicker out there.
Right. I'm like, we have our turnovers, but then we don't produce when we get the turnovers. So
Yep.
I need
it is for I'm up again, aren't I?
You are.
You do this every time, Cody. Stop giving
always
Cody
forget.
the turn.
Yeah, we got to stop giving me this turnaround thing.
It happened to me last week, Cody. So I get it.
I'm gonna say, and this has been a big one for years now, but I'm gonna stick with it. It's more now so than ever. I want to see Pittsburgh get these tight ends involved. I want to see every single tight end on our team, maybe except for Connor Hayward, with a reception, with at least a target. Like, give me something. And realistically, I would like this tight end group to get us over 100 yards receiving this game combined. I think that would be amazing.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I don't disagree with you, Cody. I think the problem right now is the only tight end we're really targeting is Smith. I mean, Muth's been involved a little bit.
Well, Muth had that drop last week. It would have been a massive gain.
Right. Yeah. And Jonnu's been, I believe, our most targeted guy on the roster, but he's only gotten 41 yards out of it. So if you're only targeting the one guy, they're going to start knowing who to cover. So gotta spread the ball, like you said.
So that brings it back to me then for my second one. And I'm going to switch from the defensive side to the offensive side here in kind of a similar mode to Cody, but a different room. I'm going to say what I'm looking for a key to success is big play DK. So I want to see DK get the ball a lot in this game. I would like to see a 100-yard receiving performance out of DK. I think the possibility is absolutely there. I don't think New England is going to double him, although that was a strategy that we always saw with Bill Belichick. I don't know that that's something that Mike Vrabel is going to employ. And honestly, DK probably didn't scare anybody after last week. So if there's a week that he's going to get one-on-ones and the ability to really show off again, I think it's back to this week. So I'm going to say 100-plus yard receiving performance from DK.
I like it.
I like that. I think my second key to success, I am also going on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm sticking with my theme of the run game, because we actually have to establish a run game. I feel like Pittsburgh's identity, a big part of that is a run game, and we don't have that. So I feel like cylinders are falling off. We're like going away from like our true core. But I think a big key to that, which I already said, is getting Darnell Washington in more run block situations, but then also kind of tying in with Cody is actually target him. Because I think if he goes in with every run block, they know what's going on, so they won't gang out, like we won't double team him or anything. But if you utilize him or you're run blocking him, but then you're getting a short yard, like, because we could use him for the run block, run for 6 or so yards, then you've got a short yard situation where you could target him. He gets 4 yards simply by falling forward.
Yeah.
But it'll keep the defense on their toes. And I just think it'll utilize him for the mountain of the man that he is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, Pittsburgh has a 60% run rate as far as successful run rate with Darnell Washington on the field, which it's 50% with Pat Freiermuth, 42% with Jonnu Smith. So definitely a key to success there. I could not agree more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of go in the same vein as Jill, but just branch off a little bit here. I also want to see us establish the run game here, but I want to see us feed Jaylen Warren. I don't understand the love affair with Kenny Gainwell. Nothing against the man, but we've paid Jaylen Warren to be a feature back. We have him for the next 3 years, and we're not using him like a featured back. And I would like to see his targets in the passing game increase, but I would also like to see his touches increase. I would like to see him have that 3-down back kind of workload for now. And we saw him rip that amazing run against Seattle, and I want more of that. So I want to see Warren get at least 15 touches in the game, preferably more.
I like it. I like that a lot.
Awesome. Awesome. You know what that's going to lead us to, guys? Time
Score
for
predictions.
Score predictions coming off of a loss. Sometimes that's a little bit difficult to tighten up and predict your favorite team to win. Sometimes a realism sets in and you're a little bit more pessimistic about the outcome of the next game. So what do we got? What are we thinking here?
Let's start with Cody.
Oh, this is great. I love this for myself.
That's what he was hoping for.
I think this is going to be a closer game than I want it to be. I'm tempted to even give Pittsburgh a loss. But I'm going to say 2017 Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
Not the year, the score, 20.
I don't know. I might want to go back to 2017 Pittsburgh.
Nick, you want to go next?
Sure. I also think it's going to be a tight game, and I'm going to give in to the temptation. I'm going with 24-17 New England. Prove me wrong, Pittsburgh. Please prove me wrong.
24-17 New England win. Got it. Jill?
I, unfortunately, am going to go 2017, but I'm going with New England.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. that brings it to me, and I guess that means I gotta kind of bring this back around here, guys. I don't like the direction this is going. So I
Neither do I.
completely understand the skepticism, and honestly, Pittsburgh's given us plenty of reason to have that skepticism. I think Pittsburgh gets it back on track this week. We're going to see 26 points with 4 field goals from Boz and a couple touchdowns go in there. And then I'll give the Patriots 20. So let's go 26-20 Steelers with the win.
Okay. Yeah. Well, last week I feel like I predicted so high, and then they completely underwhelmed me. So I'm just, I was like,
leveling the
nervous.
expectations. Would rather be pleasantly surprised, right?
Right.
That's it.
Well, and historically, again, as I've said multiple times, the Steelers like to play to the level of the team that we face, and that has been true, I swear, ever since I've been a Steelers fan. So it's like on paper, again, great example with last week with the Seahawks and their secondary, like that should have been clear domination, and it was not. It was pathetic, is what it was. So that has me concerned about this week, where it's like, on paper we can win this battle, but will we? And then the ones where we clearly are like, there's no way we're winning, absolutely not, then they pull it out of their butts. It's crazy. So
New England and Pittsburgh always have these kind of tough slog kind of matchups as well historically. So it'll be interesting to see what it is under Vrabel, but yeah, I'm expecting a slog.
The last time we won in Foxborough was 2008.
Mm.
So I mean,
yeah, but the sideline microphones and headsets work now there, so that's
jeez.
Yeah, they got busted for that one. So
and it's now a catch when you bring the ball to the ground and it wiggles a little. So justice for Jesse James.
Jesse James caught that ball.
I could be wearing that jersey right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised you weren't.
I'll wear it on Sunday.
That's fair.
I won't wear it on Sunday. They have to earn it back.
I'd say I haven't worn one yet during a game, so I'm gonna start that up.
I wore the Connor jersey when we won, and I didn't wear the Connor jersey when we lost. So guess what I'm wearing this weekend?
Now we know.
My fault.
What went wrong, Nick?
It's my fault.
I didn't wear a jersey to work on Friday, and I was like, that was it. I wore a t-shirt instead of a jersey. That was it.
I gotta find some more superstitions. I need more Steeler socks. We'll figure it out. We would love to hear from you guys. If you're watching or listening, let us know your score predictions and your keys to success. We can't thank you enough for listening or watching. Be sure to like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews and Apple Podcasts make James very happy. And until next time, this is your host, James, Cody, Joe from Ohio, and Nick signing off.
Peace.